at the Target Center, home of Prince. I
apologize.
Here. Come on now.
Gotcha.
I know we all shook about the trade and everything.
No, that's where I thought you were. My mistake.
Right. That's the same guy who didn't do a concert for you, Prince?
Yeah, that dude, that Prince, right?
But Drapes, a lot of people are excited about hearing what you have to say because they're pointing out here in the chateau that you've been on Zack LaVine for a long time.
You know, Whitey, I may just talk basketball for a living, but I actually know the game. Zack LaVine is a big-time pickup for the Sacramento Kings. And here's the thing. You can hype up Zack LaVine without putting down De'Aaron Fox. You can hype up De'Aaron Fox without putting down Zack LaVine. I think from a player standpoint, I love Zack LaVine in Sacramento. I'm a card-carrying member of his fan club. I may even be president. This dude is legit. And I believe, Whitey, mark my words, right now, 2:02 on February 3rd, if LaVine gets this team to the playoffs, to me, he's the type of guy that will rise his game to another level. He's the type of guy. And I know when it was his last playoff stint, the numbers weren't there, but that was like 6 years ago. I'm talking about with this group, this franchise. Remember, he wanted to come here years ago, Whitey.
Yeah.
And now he's finally calling Sacramento home. I'm fired up about having my guy, Zack LaVine, here.
I think anybody who's listened for a long time knows that you've been higher on Zack LaVine than I have. And I even have to admit, he's having a great year. Right. But I do want to speak to one thing. I've seen a lot and heard a lot that, well, you know, LaVine and DeMar DeRozan in Chicago, that didn't work. And I don't think that's true.
I saw your tweet. Yeah, exactly. That's not true. Go ahead.
They went from 31 wins, and they got both those guys, and they won 46. And the next year they won 40. They had some injury issues. But I don't think it's accurate, Drapes. It's easy to say, it didn't work there. But those two guys together to say that didn't work, I don't think that's accurate.
100% not accurate. We got to understand, and you had the numbers, the team record. When they got Zack LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, they also had Lonzo Ball. And Lonzo was the guy that really brought it all together. You had two elite wing scorers in LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. Then Lonzo gets hurt, and now LaVine has to play more point guard. DeRozan has to play more point guard. And so I'm interested to see the rebirth, if you will, the reunification of these two guys with Malik Monk running the point. And I'm a firm believer, too, when you look at these guys, like Lonzo Ball, before he got hurt, was a legit point guard, pass first point guard. Now, how do they fit in with Malik Monk running the show, playing off Domas? But to me, Whitey, it's the same narrative we had with Domas and Miles Turner. When you actually look at the numbers and the stats and the facts and what really happened, it's just not true that it didn't work out and those two guys didn't fit together.
Yeah, and another thing, and you touched on this, I've seen a lot and read from national media types. There was even a former NBA GM I saw on TV last night. He was saying, well, now they got, all these guys that just need the ball, all these shooters, they need a point guard. And it's clear that people saying this have not seen Malik Monk play the last 2 years. They don't understand what's actually going on here.
Yeah, and here's the thing. There's a reason why even before De'Aaron Fox was traded, the Kings had three guys averaging 20 or more points. You know as well as I do, it's an equal opportunity offense. And I don't think Zack LaVine is a ball sticker. He's not a ball stopper at all. And the thing about Zack LaVine, you mentioned the numbers. I mean, 45% from three, 51% on only 16.9 shots per game. The dude is averaging 24, 25 points on only 16.9 shots,
yes,
Whitey.
Yes.
De'Aaron was taking 19.7 shots, I think it was, something like that, 19.3 and averaging 25. His efficiency this season is something we actually need, especially from the three-point line.
Yeah, you're right. That's a great point. We looked at that on Friday when you were traveling, of course, to Oklahoma City. And, De'Aaron Fox's attempts per game and his usage rate, both higher, and nothing wrong with that. That's not a criticism of De'Aaron Fox, but they are both higher than Zack LaVine's. So people look at that and wonder, wow, are there enough shots for him? There's more than enough shots for Zack LaVine, given the fact that De'Aaron Fox isn't there anymore.
I agree 100%. And that's the thing. And the thing is, it's not like Zack LaVine's going to come here and we're going to ask him to take 21 shots a game or anything. I just need what I saw in Chicago. Do what you did in Chicago, do it here. Give me that kind of efficiency. Give me that kind of elite three-point shooting. And think about it like this. It opens it up more for Domas now. It opens it up more for DeMar now, I would imagine. Malik now. When you got Zack LaVine on the corner wing above the break three instead of De'Aaron Fox, and it's not a knock. It is what it is. You got to pay attention to Zack LaVine out there, Whitey. You can't slouch off Zack LaVine and help on Malik Monk as he gets downhill. I actually think from a player standpoint, getting Zack LaVine will help this team.
Yeah, and last week, DeMar DeRozan had suggested on somebody's podcast, he said, if De'Aaron's not here, it kind of changes things for me. But I think with Zack LaVine joining the team, I think for DeMar DeRozan, he loves Zack LaVine. They get along great. I think it makes it more likely that he's going to look at this and go, okay, this is great. Some, again, have suggested, now that De'Aaron's gone, they'll probably trade DeMar DeRozan. I don't think so, and I don't think DeMar DeRozan wants to be traded now if Zack LaVine is here, Drapes.
Well, think about it like this, too. First post I saw from anybody with the team was DeMar DeRozan yesterday when the word came out, posting a shot of him and Zack LaVine saying reunited with Peaches and Herb song Reunited.
Yep.
And so I was told DeMar DeRozan had nothing but great things to say about Zack LaVine. No kind of reservations or anything like that. I think this is his guy. And so, and when I look at it too, those years in Chicago, yes, they underachieved. Even I think they would say that as well. But those two guys were in the fight together. And I don't think it was for lack of effort. And you have to look at the history of Zack LaVine in Chicago. I was there calling games for the Chicago Bulls before Billy Donovan got there. The front office was a mess. Coaching was a mess. They had Jim Boylan. They had just fired Fred Hoiberg, and so LaVine's early tenure in Chicago, he had 3 coaches in about 2 years, Whitey. And so I look at Zack LaVine, from all accounts, he was not a malcontent out there in Chicago. He went through some organizational changes, but the dude still showed up. Anytime he took the floor, he was a certified bucket. And we saw it last year. Everybody's talking about, well, he's injury prone. Well, 2 years ago, he played 77 games. Year before that, he played 67 games. I get it. Last year, 25. This year, he's played 42 games. He's been solid this year. And so I'm excited about this. And, hopefully he'll play Wednesday, Thursday at the latest is what I was told. I think he just had a baby or he's about to have a baby any day now. And so you factor that in. But no, man, this dude is going to be ready for Sacramento.
Now, Drapes, I will say this. My initial reaction was one of disappointment because of take Zack LaVine out of it, which I know, well, you can't do that. But just in terms of what the Kings got from the Spurs, they didn't get Devin Vassell. They didn't get Stephon Castle, which I didn't think they were going to. They didn't get Keldon Johnson or Sohan. And they got 3 first-round picks. That's really 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
So that's disappointing, but I'm trying to wait and see. Jay tweeted last night, there's more to come. If they end up spending some of that draft capital off to bring in a guy that we've been talking about, then this may look even brighter. But I got to admit, my initial reaction was one of, I was underwhelmed by the return from the Spurs.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It would have been nice to have that Charlotte pick unprotected.
Yeah.
Let me throw it out there like this to you and to Kings fans out there. If we told you that they had flipped De'Aaron Fox for Zack LaVine and Cam Johnson, or Zack LaVine and John Collins, how would we feel about that? And so we still got a few days left before the trade deadline.
Right.
And I don't think this team is done making moves. I think they're still out there working the phone lines. And so is it De'Aaron Fox, Kevin Huerter, Jordan McLaughlin for Zack LaVine and Cam Johnson? I think a lot of fans would be okay with that. Same thing if you added a John Collins. And so I'm a reserve my trade deadline grade for the Kings until I see what other moves they make.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that too. And I'm going to be greedy. I'm going to say, all right, you're bringing a wing and bringing a backup center too. I've heard that the backup centers that are available might take 2 second-rounders to get them. Monte McNair is swimming. He's literally swimming in second-round picks right now, right? He's out, what is this? It's a second-round pick. I can throw those away. So I'm optimistic that they're still going to get some significant things, or at least a significant thing done, to your point, between now and the deadline. Fingers crossed.
Whitey, and they got the trade exception. That's huge because
Tell us how that works exactly.
No, well, that allows you to absorb a contract and not get penalized going into the tax. Meaning, And now you can't aggregate it. You can't include it with any other players but you can go out there. Let's look at somebody who's $16.8 million or less, a la a Bobby Portis type. You go out there, can bring in a Bobby Portis, absorb his contract, and you don't have to send out as much because you can send out the second-round picks. You don't have to worry about salary cap issues. And so 16 point, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Usually I see 4 million, 5, 7 million, 16.8. You can go out there and get it Bobby Portis for virtually nothing, really.
I can't wait for Drape's Takes. We have some coming up.
Yeah, always got that.
Yeah, special edition of Drape's Takes next with the Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kyle Draper from Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. I'm a huge fan of their SUVs and sedans, but they also have a huge Vans fleet center. Listen up, business owners. Now is the perfect time to take advantage of tax deductions. They have the perfect van to power your fleet, including the new fully electric e-Sprinter alongside their very reliable diesel options. And even if you aren't a business owner, let's say you just want one for personal reasons. Maybe you want to go out on the town with the fellas or with the ladies, or maybe you want to take the kids on a road trip. Well, their vans are fully customizable. So check out Mercedes-Benz of Stockton right now. You can choose from their dependable diesel models or even go all electric with the new e-Sprinter. So head on down to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton right now and check out their fleet center. Or, of course, you can go online at mbfstockton.com. That's mbfstockton.com.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Fall head over boots in love with music this Valentine's Day. Get ready for Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, returning May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, and more. Enjoy food trucks, mechanical bulls, and line dancing. Tickets start at just $52. Visit CITPfest.com. Brought to you by Hyatt Vacation Club. Don't just say, I love you. Show it with music. Buy tickets now.
This trade, there's so many aspects of it, but one I don't think we can overlook as we get ready for tonight in the game. The Kings, Oklahoma City's a tremendous team. Yeah. Oklahoma City destroyed the Kings. I know you had the call, but it did look, the last couple nights, it's looked like the negativity and the uncertainty has affected the Kings. That's not an excuse. They got destroyed. They got embarrassed. Doug Christie said it was unacceptable, but I do think that had to be at least a small part of how bad they looked against OKC. What do you think?
100%, Whitey. I spoke to a couple of players before the game, and I'm like, hey, with all the uncertainty, does it feel like a dark cloud over you guys? Do you feel like it's weighing you guys down? And one player said, hell yeah, it is. Like you could just feel it. During practice and shoot around, things were light and everything like that, but you could just tell. And it's interesting. I was in the film session yesterday before practice, and Coach Doug Christie showed all the clips of the team lacking effort, lacking energy.
Wow.
OKC getting the offensive
Must have been
rebound.
a long session.
It was a long session. And the great thing, he didn't say a word. He just told everybody, watch this video, watch yourself, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. And here's the thing, Whitey. He followed that up and played the video from the Celtics game. And it was like, all right, fellas, you show me you could play hard. You've shown me you could play with energy and passion. We need to see it on a night in and night out basis. I'll be interested to see how we are tonight, because for now anyway, that cloud has been lifted. All right, we know De'Aaron's not here. They made the move. Let's go out and see what happens. But it no doubt affected this team. And I thought going into that game against OKC and watching that game, I'm like, damn, did these trade rumors derail our season? Well, they made the trade. Here we are. Let's see what happens going forward.
And it's not just, will De'Aaron be here or not? For some of the players, it's, will I be here or not, right?
Yeah. I was telling somebody, it's not just about De'Aaron Fox. Kevin Huerter heard his name all the time. Trey Lyles heard his name. Other guys, Kevin Carter wondering if he's going to be here and things like that. And so it's interesting when you look at the trade deadline, and I talked to Doug about this, it affects players in different ways. Some players can lock it out, focus, and dial in. Other players, especially when you go home or you talk to family members or you have children, you start wondering, do I need to pull them out of school? Do I need to move the family? And so life takes over. And so I get it. And, he says he wants in between the lines to be this team's sanctuary, but they're still human beings at the end of the day. And I know it's hard.
Yeah, it's time now. We'll find out whose names are mentioned in Drape's Takes.
Calm down, Lyle. Calm down. Take it easy, man. Just take it easy.
All right, Kings fans. I came in thinking Drape's Takes on Monday would be all about the loss to OKC. I had about 3 or 4 things I wanted to point out, but you know what? I'm balling up that box score. I'm throwing it in the trash, Whitey. I'm not even going to mention that game against Oklahoma City. First off, I got to give a shout out to my guy, De'Aaron Fox. Here's the thing that I liked about De'Aaron Fox's tenure here in Sacramento. It had nothing to do with the last few months. It had nothing to do with the clutch player of the war. To me, De'Aaron Fox earned his stripes as a member of the Sacramento Kings in his first 5 or 6 seasons when the team was struggling, when the team was winning 25 games, 27 games, 29 games, and De'Aaron Fox came out here and played hard every single night. And so I know a lot of people are, this last year or two coming down hard on De'Aaron. This dude earned his stripes in the city of Sacramento. When we talk about all-time Sacramento greats, De'Aaron Fox has to be up there, and there's nothing that can take away from it. So I want to give a shout-out to De'Aaron Fox because those lean years, think about it. Any star player, superstar player he went through early on in his career, probably would have got out of Dodge quicker than that. And so shout-out to De'Aaron Fox for always coming out, playing hard, despite all the turmoil and the stuff going on behind the scenes, Whitey.
Yeah, we got 2 Foxy jerseys in here. One, I think, that's autographed. I don't know. Do we leave them up? Do we have to get Zack LaVine jerseys? I don't know.
Yeah, you got to take that out.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yes, we got to do an update. I will say my son Nick has a UCLA Zack LaVine jersey, so I'm sure next game he's going to be rocking that. So he's already ahead of the curve. Think about it, though, real quick. We got DeMar DeRozan and Zack LaVine now. Think about that. Think about the jerseys that we'll see in Golden One Center when we come back on Wednesday and when we play another home game on Saturday. Like, this is definitely a new era in Sacramento sports. Let me say this, too, as I continue Drape's Takes. Before this trade, I heard everybody talking about Monte McNair too scared to make a move. I heard about trade deadline, Monte McNair tucks tail and runs away. I'm looking at this trade and thinking, my gosh, Monte McNair has made 2 of the biggest trades in Sacramento history, maybe 2 of the top 3 in the last 18 years or so. Can we at least put the rest that this dude is scared to make a move? Like, these are bold moves he's making here. Will they work? We'll see. But I'm going to give him some time. The Domantas Sabonis move, it worked, Whitey. We all agree it worked for Sacramento. Let's see what's up his sleeve right here. But the narrative that he's scared to make a move, I don't think we can use that anymore.
Yeah, Drapes, this was somewhere. Somebody wrote that this was last week. Is there a guy there, or is it just a vest? We can laugh about that now because I think that's kind of funny. But he has done something now, so we can laugh about it. But the job isn't finished yet, so we'll see what he gets done between now and the deadline.
Exactly. And I'll say this about the trade. I was hoping for more. For the Spurs not to give up Keldon Johnson or Vassell or Sohan
or the Atlanta
or somebody.
Pick.
Give me, what did the Spurs give up of value, fellas?
Not a
That's
lot.
the thing that's frustrating to me. And I understand in a vacuum, you just got to be concerned about what you got and what you're doing. But damn, we helped the Spurs out big time. I'm flabbergasted. And who knows? Maybe our front office didn't want any of those guys. But this trade would have been a lot easier to swallow for a lot of people if they got back a Vassell or a Sohan or somebody like that, Whitey.
Yes. By the way, this is nice. Your buddy Farmer Bleezy says, I'll take that Fox jersey from you guys. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Farmer Bleezy.
Exactly. My daughter is so upset about this trade, man. She loved De'Aaron Fox. She texted me yesterday with all caps, I'm angry. And I'm feeling you, young lady. But when my boy Zack LaVine gets to Sacramento, I kind of look at it like this, Whitey. When Tyrese got traded, everybody was upset, crying, emotional. Then Domas came in and won everybody over just like that. I think the same will happen with Zack LaVine. When Zack comes out and drops his first 30-point game in the next few games, when that offense puts up 125 and him and DeMar are playing off each other, or when Monte McNair goes out there and gets a Cam Johnson or somebody like that, I think fans will understand what's happening. Last take about this. The reason this move was made, ladies and gentlemen, was because, in my opinion, they knew De'Aaron Fox was not going to resign. If we're being 100% honest, I think it was probably the worst kept secret in the NBA. Every team that came through that I talked to, and I talked to people, they're like, yeah, he's probably out of there. He's probably like, that was the narrative going on around the league. And so I think Monty and Wes and those guys didn't want to trade De'Aaron Fox. I don't think Fox wanted out right now, but I think they saw, what's the future hold for us? And when you look at the leverage that they would have lost going into next season, the distraction, now you make this move now. You got the rest of the season. Maybe you make another move. You got trade assets you can do in the offseason, Whitey. I think they got, our boy Brendan Nunez said they got about 4 draft picks that they can actually move off of now, first-round picks. And so we talked about it a month or two ago about the process for Monte McNair and the Sacramento Kings front office. I think this is all part of the process. And to Jay's point, and Jay tweeted it out, this team is not done making moves.
Yeah, you still have a lot of people that are upset, and they lash out at whoever is convenient to lash out at, including Monty. We have no from Dat Ninja. Monty is still a failure. He got to go, in my opinion. Just wait and see what he does. Just hang on.
Hold up, Whitey. Jay, cut the music. Cut the music, Jay. Cut the music. We got to start having a real conversation, Sacramento Kings fans. We got to look at where we were 5 years ago. Look at the moves Monty has made. If I would have told you 5 years ago, we would have brought in DeMar DeRozan. We would have brought in Domantas Sabonis. We would have had Malik Monk. We would have made the playoffs. Like, this notion that Monte McNair is a failure, and yes, I work for the team. Uncle V signs my checks. But considering where we were, he's been the best GM since who? How far back? Jeff Petrie. Yeah, easily. I mean, so to say he's a failure, that is just not true. I will also say this. When I took the job here in Sacramento, people told me, Drapes, you sure you know what you're doing? You understand where you're going? I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to do my thing. I will say this. Monty, I'm going to throw Mike Brown in there also, gave stability and respectability back to this organization. Now you got a Zack LaVine. Now you got a DeMar DeRozan. Now you got a Domantas Sabonis. That's a big three we're talking about here. So to say he's a failure, I find that incredibly offensive, and it's just not true considering Sacramento, where we came from beforehand. Like, this is ridiculous. We got Domantas Sabonis, an all-NBA performer. We got Zack LaVine, a former All-Star. We got DeMar DeRozan, a future Hall of Famer, former All-Star. I don't care if Monty makes another move the rest of the time he's here. He has upgraded the talent on this franchise. We're not playing G League guys. We're not playing a bunch of guys that don't belong in the league like we did my first couple of years here. And so I get the frustration. You start winning a little bit and you want more. It's like a drug. I want more. I want more. I want more. But to say that he's been a failure, I think that's incredibly unfair, Whitey.
And he also brought in Malik Monk. And I don't just mean he re-signed him. He brought him in the first place.
Yes, exactly. Give me back my music, Jay. I'm going to wrap it up with this. We got a couple more days until the trade deadline, Kings fans. Let's see what happens.
Yes.
Let's let the season play out.
Yes.
And I'm willing to give Monty an off season to see what happens as well, because I don't think this Kings team is done. I think they're revamping it on the fly, and we'll see if it works out. Jay, that's it, big fella. Play the read.
By Alsco Uniforms. Yep. Discover why it pays to keep clean with Alsco Uniforms.
Thank you, Drapes. When we come back, we'll look at why the Kings couldn't get more.
I know. I'm sweating over here, big fella. I'm sweating, man. That's why I got the T-shirt on. I'm sweating. I'm pitting out and everything. Because it's just not real quick. It's just not true. He's a failure. That's just not true. A failure was where we were 5 years ago. We're respectable right now. Come on.
Yeah, and it's hard to work up a sweat when it's 23 degrees.
I know, right?
Yeah. By the way, it looks like DeMar DeRozan and his former teammate Zack LaVine will be reunited here in Sacramento on Wednesday. Would you like a couple tickets to that game? It's Monday Madness, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. We got what, a pair of tickets, Jay? Yeah, pair of tickets.
Pair this hour.
Yeah.
We got a pair next hour.
Yeah,
okay.
Every hour. Today, give us a number if you would, Drapes. Number for the caller.
Let's go Fox Force 5. Let's honor De'Aaron Fox, number 5.
You got it. Caller number 5 right now.
I don't know if we got open lines right now. We booked solid here.
We are. Drive Guys rolling on when we come back. Sacktown Sports.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave coming to you from my good friends at American Energy. Look, it's already cold outside. It's only going to get colder. American Energy wants to help you stay warm and make sure your system is operating safely. So right now is the time to take advantage of the $49 tune-up inspection. Normally $119, $49 right now, and that includes a full safety and duct inspection. And check it out. If your system's over 10 years old, and I'll bet it is, the tune-up, it's free. It's free from a company that's been in business since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ Better Business Bureau. Check their Yelp, check their Google reviews. Don't take my word for it. Give them a call right now. $50 off your first recommended repair. If you need a new furnace, half off the price of a new unit. Check them out at theaeway.com and tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9998 now.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, really? That's great.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Right now at Wendy's, get 2 of these fave items for just $7. The spicier classic chicken sandwich, Dave's single, or 10-piece nugs. It's an incredible deal, but an insanely difficult choice. Do you go double chicky sando, both spicy and classic, 1 beefy and 1 chicky? Or maybe you go all in on one and go Nug Max. 2 faves for just $7? Gotta be Wendy's.
At participating Wendy's for a limited time only. Select a request 2 for $7 deal to redeem. Not valid in a combo or with saucy nugs. Single item at regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time. The next time you're out to dinner with friends, you can order the shrimp cocktail for the table. And maybe you'll realize it only comes with 4 shrimp after you've already given away 3, but that one shrimp will be so good. And if you switch and save hundreds, you could get shrimp all the time. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For shrimp. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part, they accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Sherry, what have you done to your hair? What do you mean? Does it not look good? It doesn't look good. It looks freaking amazing. I can't believe how thick and healthy it looks. Oh, I must know your secret. No secret. It's hair volume from New Nordic. Hair volume, huh? Well, it certainly lives up to its name. Your hair has never looked so thick. It is gorgeous.
I was so tired of having thin and brittle hair. Ugh, and the shedding. So I figured I'd give hair volume a try. Needless to say, I'm thrilled with the results. Hey, where are you going?
I'm going to pick up some hair volume right now. My reunion's next month and I want my hair to look as good as yours.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural health products from New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Scandinavia. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or your local CVS. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Help your hair look full, voluminous, and beautiful again at newnordicusa.com or CVS.
Check it out. Flipmode Squad 98 Raw Deluxe. Your afternoon home for Kings talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Welcome to Monday Madness. Yeah, we're going to have a pair of Kings tickets every hour here. We got Drapes in Minneapolis. Get ready for the call tonight. Kings and the Minnesota Timberwolves. I got a question for you, Jay. Jay's on the phone right now. I got to ask Jay a question real quick. Yeah. Let me know when you got a second, Jay. Drapes, you know, we got some people here in the text line, and they're kind of calling out De'Aaron Fox for what he said in his message to Kings fans today. From the 209, Fox said he never expected it to end this way. Then he hired Rich Paul, a clutch, didn't sign an extension, and told the Kings he'd only sign with the Spurs. You know what? I saw that message to fans that De'Aaron Fox posted today. He did say, I wanted to end my career here, never expected it would end this way. I believe him, Drapes. He did want his career to end here. And now it is true. He is the one that went public with this whole thing. I don't know if I'll re-sign here. But when he says that, it's like we could take him at his word. There was a time when he thought, I want to be here his whole career. I'm okay with what he said, Drapes. Some Kings fans are having a hard time with it.
No, I'm okay. And the fact that he didn't expect it to end this way, I don't know if he expected trade deadline. And we also have to look at, you know, the last year or so for De'Aaron Fox. We can go back to the media sabbatical hiatus or whatever you want to call it, where he didn't talk for a couple of weeks. We could go to the Mike Brown firing, and, you know, he was left to answer a lot of questions, and people assumed it was him. I get it. He was hurt by the organization throughout this process. And like I said, I don't think it was about whether or not they got John Collins or Cam Johnson or anything like that. I think there were some other factors, and I think over the last year or so, De'Aaron really started to look at things
25 award-winning years in Northern.
Yes.
Like, should I, you know, what would it look like elsewhere? Are there greener pastures elsewhere? And so, and he has a chance to go join Victor Wembanyama. Now you're talking about being on national TV all the time. Now you're talking about easier paths to earn an all-star berth probably. And so he made a business decision, ladies and gentlemen. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm not upset about his words that he wrote.
I'm glad you said that, because I think there's a lot of people now throwing around the idea that, wow, if they'd have just gotten a couple wings, he would have stayed. And now I know some people said, wow, what if they trade for a wing or two after they traded De'Aaron Fox? He might have stayed if they'd done that. And I'm with you. It was about a lot more than that, rightly or wrongly. When he came out this year before the season started and said, I want to be on a team that competes for a championship every year.
Right.
I mean, if you take him at his word there, it's like, okay, well, there are very few teams actually that compete for a championship every year. The Kings right now are not one of them. So I think it was a lot more than, oh, I want money to go get a wing or two. I think it was a lot more than that, Drake.
Well, and think about when he came out and said that, you know, it was already in his mind.
Yeah.
You know, he had already started to lay the groundwork, if you will. I don't know if this would have been that much of a talking point if he wouldn't have come out and actually said the things. He sort of lit the fire in all of this.
He did.
You know, we weren't thinking about, like, remember, Whitey, when he turned down the extension, what was the narrative?
He's waiting.
Waiting, right. It's a smart business move. He could get more money if he waits. That's what we were thinking. We weren't thinking, he actually might leave and opt out. And so, I feel like
and then he doubled down on it later.
Yeah, right. He doubled down, and he never in the last 6 months or so said, nope, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to re-sign here. I'm staying in SAC.
Mm-hmm.
It was always, I want to play for a winner. I want to be, it wasn't, I want to retire here. I'm not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it signaled, when he came out with the Draymond Green podcast, we started saying, is this his message to ownership and the organization? You better go out there and get some talent. I look at it as that was his signal to ownership and front office. You may have to think of life without me.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the move I think he was making.
Mm-hmm. And I think everyone knew that. And that's one of the reasons the Kings didn't get more from the Spurs. They did get, of course, Zack LaVine, and it looks like they could still get more. So we'll see. We've mentioned that a number of times, and you already know that. But when you have De'Aaron Fox saying, I want to go to San Antonio, well, you got three parties in the trade. You got the Kings, you got the Spurs, you got De'Aaron Fox's people. Two of those three parties do not want the Spurs to give up much. If they give up too much, De'Aaron Fox would not want to go there. So the Kings were really at a disadvantage. And to the point you made earlier, if they had waited till the season was over, they'd have been at an even greater disadvantage. So I think that's one of the reasons they didn't get more. And it's one of the reasons why all of us looked at this initial return from the Spurs and said, wow, that's all?
Right. But you also got to understand, San Antonio was operating from a position of strength,
exactly.
Right? Like you're saying. I'm sure Monte and Wes kept saying, no, we want this guy. San Antonio's like, nope. No, we want this guy. Nope. I mean, and so it gets to a point where it's like, and true, they didn't have to do it right now. But look at where the season was going. Look at the cloud hanging over the season. Look at, De'Aaron Fox's value. And it's sort of like Luka, similar to that to an extent. If De'Aaron Fox says he wants to go to San Antonio, if I'm Orlando, I'm not giving up the farm for him. If I'm Milwaukee, I'm not giving up the farm or whoever it may be, because this guy is just going to leave me in a year. And so I wish they would have got more, but this is not the worst deal ever made. And, I also need to see what happens going forward, Wade.
Yeah, and I also think part of this, I suspect, was, and you touched on this, some of those guys that the Kings could have gotten from the Spurs, I think as an organization, the Kings were just more focused on getting Zack LaVine. That was the guy that they wanted.
Right. Think about it. If you get Zack LaVine, do you really need Vassell? Do you really need a Keldon Johnson? I think Sohan could have played, maybe he plays some small ball for you or something like that. That would have been Stephon Castle. San Antonio clearly wasn't going to move him, right? Clearly. And so I think, like you said, I think they've been high on LaVine for a few years now. And they finally got a chance to get their guy.
Yeah, and it sounds like from what we've read, that maybe there was a split there in basketball ops, like, well, we like him, and another half round, we don't know. But this year, you look at what he's done, you really can't make the case that he's not worth acquiring. You could say, well, it's a lot of money, but they even worked that out. There's just no way around it. He's having a great year.
He's having a fantastic year. And, it's and Whitey, we did the whole exercise during the summer about looking at guys. And I know you were big into shooting percentage, 3-point percentage. Well, damn, this guy's a 45% 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
Sign me up. Take the name Zack LaVine off. I just show you the numbers. We would love to have a player like that.
Drapes, I don't want to jinx anything, but they could end up with your two guys, Zack LaVine and John Collins. It could happen.
Whitey, I'm telling you, bro, I understand I talk a lot of mess, but your boy knows basketball. And if we get LaVine and Collins, and then you can sprinkle in some other players, maybe, some minimum guys, some buyout guys, a guy like Torrey Craig, who just got released from Chicago. Like, I see a pathway to where this team is better going forward than we were just a week ago.
Now, Jay, somebody from Chicago says they want to join us a little bit.
Yeah, the great Stacy King.
Stacy King, yeah.
Friend of the show.
Absolutely want to get a part of this. The one thing about it is, fellas, and Drapes is kind of talking about it, and you talking about it. Sacramento, we got to stand up. It's our time, and I know we lost a loved one. I know we lost a family member. They ain't dead. You
Right.
know,
He gonna be back.
He
here
gonna be
next month.
fine. Absolutely.
Right?
He gonna get the tribute video.
Yeah.
We're gonna look above and see in the big sky. De'Aaron family gonna come through. We got love for him. We've seen Weber leave. We've seen other people go out the door. I'm not telling you how to operate, but we got new family members coming in too. You know, so we got to show some love on that. And you know, the fact that we talking to town with the NBA circles beside them chumps down there in SoCal who always continue to get lucky. That's for another day. But yeah, man. So people want to chime in. They know the Drive guys is rocking and rolling. So people, they don't want to sit idle either. You know, they want to show love to Zack LaVine because Zack is leaving Chicago. So Stacy, like, yeah, it's time for me to talk about it too.
Yeah, and we'll talk to Stacy King next. Drive Guys, Sacktown Sports.
Listen for the Toyota Tahoe Report every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with Johnny Mosley to get the latest weather conditions in Tahoe throughout this snow season. Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
The only place you'll find Malik Monk is Sacktown Sports.
Oh my, what an athletic move that time by Malik Monk.
Hey Sacramento, it's Malik Monk, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
How about you try something new this year? A resolution to enjoy what you drive. And the only way to guarantee that is at Sacramento Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. And it's not just because they're centrally located right across from Hagan Oaks Golf Course or their huge selection of new and pre-owned vehicles. It's because their general manager, Chuck Dean, and his team, they really take the time to get to know you and your goals. To them, it's not just about a car sale. It's about building generational relationships with someone you can trust. That's why people come from all over: Folsom, Elk Grove, Woodland, Roseville, because Sacramento Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, it's where a handshake still means something.
This 49er injury report is brought to you by Jeremy Winter, attorney at law. He cares because he's been there. After an injury-plagued 2024 season, which ended 6-11 and out of the playoffs, the 49ers will focus on getting healthy in the offseason. Running backs Christian McCaffrey, Jordan Mason, and Isaac Guerrero all suffered season-ending injuries. Left tackle Trent Williams' ankle kept him out late in the year, and Brock Purdy missed the season finale with a hurt elbow. 49ers hope to enter 2025 with a full roster back intact.
Serious accident. You deserve the law offices of Jeremy Winter. 877-637-3237. Jeremy lost his mother in a car accident and knows firsthand the pain caused by tragedy. That is why he became an attorney to fight for others who are going through a tragedy.
Your afternoon home for Kings talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
I don't think this will stick. I don't necessarily think it should stick, but in the Chateau, RPV has a nickname for Zack LaVine, Sack LaBeam. I don't think that was
Nah. It's almost as bad as Crash and Dash. You know, it's Zack LaVine.
But people are excited. That's all. Yeah. Speaking of Zack LaVine, our next guest, very special guest, as you know, he's been on the show before. 1989, the Kings had the first pick. They seriously considered drafting this gentleman. He ended up going with the 6th pick to the Bulls. He won 3 championships there. He's a broadcasting legend in Chicago. Stacy King with us. How are you today, Stacy?
How you guys doing?
We're good. We're good. Whitey and Kyle
What's
Drape.
up, man? What's going on, Stacy? What's up, baby?
Well, we lost you a little bit there.
We lost you.
Can you hear me?
Stacy? Yeah, I got
I'm
you.
here.
You still on that
I'm here.
3G, huh, big fella? You on that 3G still?
No, y'all on the 3G. Y'all, hey, it's y'all's line, not mine.
Stacy, let me ask you this. A lot of fans around here, a little skeptical of the deal. Some people said initially, well, it didn't really work in Chicago, DeMar and Zack LaVine, so why would it work here? But I think it did work there, didn't it? Those two, how well did Zack LaVine and DeMar DeRozan play together in Chicago?
They played extremely well. I think, in the beginning we had Lonzo Ball, a true point guard that could get get them easier shots, much more efficient shots. And then when Lonzo went down, we became more of an isolation team. It was like one of those, like, you take this turn, I take the next turn. So it might have looked on the outside like it wasn't working. But you got 2 dynamic guys, 2 all-star caliber guys that know how to play with one another, and they'll figure it out.
Hey, Stacy, tell me about Zack LaVine, the person, what you've seen, work ethic, player. What kind of guy are we getting here in Sacramento?
Yeah, again, we're giving you guys some great guys, man. Y'all should be sending us some Christmas presents. Many guys are giving you. He's you're getting a great locker room guy. He's not going to cause any problems. He's a gym rat. He constantly works on his game. I think you're going to get a guy with a chip on his shoulder. This is a guy that is probably going to take this trade personally. I think he handled himself extremely well this year with all the questions about trades and the Bulls moving him. He never did not be professional. He didn't pull Jimmy Butler type situations here ever. Consummate pro, consummate team player, and you're getting one of the arguably one of the most dynamic players in the game. This is a guy that can score in bunches, can get you 30 easily. He can walk out there easily and get 38, just waking up in the morning. He still can fly to the rim. He's exciting. It'll be fun for Sacramento King fans.
Stacy, is Zack LaVine having one of his very best years right now?
Oh, definitely. This is what makes this trade surprising because, I thought a contending team would really push for him. A team like Denver who needs a third option. Teams like that who are like maybe one player away from really being a team to be a threat. So I was surprised more at the Golden State. I was surprised Golden State didn't make a run for him. Zack LaVine is having a career year. He's showing everybody that he got his legs underneath him. He's healthy. He doesn't miss games. He's still explosive. And he's shooting a high percentage from the 3-point line and the field goal percentage. So, you're getting a guy right now that is at the top of his game.
Stacy, can he play off the ball, do you think? How does he do without the ball in his hands?
He can play without the ball. He's a guy that will conform to whatever the system that he's in. I think the biggest situation right now for Sacramento is that, who's going to play point guard? Who's going to get all these guys the ball? You got Sabonis, you got DeMar, you got Zach, you got Monk, Murray. You got all these guys. The question is, who's going to be the facilitator, to get these balls? You guys lose Fox. And, of course, when you lose a player like Fox, you've got to have something in the reserve tank to get these guys the ball. And I don't know what your guard situation looks like after losing Fox, but I do know you have a lot of scores, and someone's going to have to get these guys the ball.
Jay wanted me to jump in. Here's the thing, Stacy. Malik is going to be our point guard. But I will say this, fellas. I do think Malik, as great of a facilitator he is, disher he is, it might be okay to take a step back scoring because you got all these weapons out here now. Mm-hmm. You got two guys that can get you 25 a game with their eyes closed in DeMar DeRozan and Zack LaVine. And so I would expect Malik's assist numbers to actually go up. Maybe the scoring comes down just a tick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's going to have to make some sacrifices in his game, because he's been a super sub off the bench. He's been in the starting lineup, and he's in this league. He's been a legit scorer. So his mindset now is going to have to completely change from being a shoot-first guard to a pass-first, pass-second guard, and that's something he's going to have to, get used to. Doug Christie's done an excellent job with the team after taking over. This is a big move for Sacramento, bringing in a player like Zach to help bolster your scoring a little bit. I think it's a great move for you guys, and I think that the key is Malik. If he can do it, it's going to be great. But I think you also got to these other guys are going to have to be playmakers as well. DeMar's going to have to be a playmaker. He's capable of doing it. Zach used to play point guard his first year in Minnesota. He was a point guard, so he can be a playmaker. So you got a lot of different options, and you also got to remember Sabonis gets to rebound most of the time and brings the ball up anyway as a point center. So it'll work out.
You guys have been playing at you've really been pushing the pace this year, right? Is that one reason why Zack LaVine has played so well?
Yeah, they made a concerted effort to speed the game up. Last year, 2 years ago, they were, when we lost, we had Lonzo healthy. We really had a great pace. Once he went down, we became more of an isolation team, and the pace was super slow. And this year, the whole, it's been a concerted effort to be in the top 5 in pace, which they have been all season long, tops in 3-point attempts, makes. So they've really sped up the game, and Zach's a guy who loves to play in the open court. He wants to get out and run. He wants to get out and finish at the rim. So he loves playing at that pace. I don't know, what you guys' pace was, where you guys rank, but I would assume that you guys play, pretty fast pace with Fox. So I'm assuming that's not going to change with Doug Christie.
Hey, Stacy, let me ask you this about Zach. I'm of the belief, and I could be wrong because we really haven't seen it. I believe there's still another level for him to go, and I'm talking in the postseason. Like, I look at a guy like Zack LaVine. I think he can increase his numbers. And I understand playoffs when he made it with you guys, the numbers weren't that great. But I think on the brightest of stages, he's not going to cower. He's not going to shudder and be afraid.
No, he's one of the few guys in this league that I consider a true shot maker. Whether you have guys draped all over him, he can knock down fadeaway shots. I mean, he's got that athleticism of Michael and Kobe, and he's fearless. I mean, he feels like he can make any shot at any given time, doesn't care, who's guarding him, what team they're playing. He just has extreme confidence in his ability. He puts the time in the summer, working on his game. Now, where I would like to see his game evolve, and we said that many times here, is his athleticism's off the chart. I mean, he's an elite athlete. I'd like to see him be a much better defensive player where he could be dominant on both ends. And he started to do that this year. He started really looking to, really to try to play better defense and be a leader on our team. And I thought we saw it a lot this year. And I hope that continues because I think that's the one area that's keeping him off being a top 10 player, is being a two-way player, not just being a one-way player.
Yeah, that's Stacy King, 3-time champ with the Bulls, and he's the Bulls analyst, 20th year with the Drive guys. To what extent there, Stacy, to your point, address that the next few days, they don't have a lot of length on the wing. So, I mean, Zach may be guarding some bigger wings. To what extent is he, in your opinion, capable of doing that right now?
Well, he's been guarding small forwards all year. They've had him playing the 3, so he's been playing out of position. He's a natural 2 guard. He's 6'6". He's a natural 2 guard. So, he's been the whole season. We've been playing a 4 guard rotation where he's been asked to guard small forwards. So he's done it. I think to really maximize his ability, you got to put him in his natural position because guarding bigger guys. As a 2 guard guarding small forwards takes a lot out of you, as the season goes along. We've just been very fortunate he hasn't been hurt, and DeMar was the same way. We had DeMar sometimes playing power forward last year, and he had to guard bigger guys. But, guys will figure out a way to do it. I just don't think you can do it on a nightly basis, because we had Caruso. And Alex Caruso is one guy that you can put on 4 different players. He can guard everybody. And I think, we kind of got used to seeing guards guarding Giannis's and stuff. And that's not because you can't do that every night. You might be able to get away with it a quarter and a half. But, I'm a big believer, put guys in their natural positions and then demand that they play defense at their position and be the best they can at their position.
Great Stacy King joining us. Stacy, how's this trade playing out there in Chicago, man? What's been the feedback you're hearing?
Well, I mean, of course, our fan base is not happy about it. They thought we could have gotten more for, and then fans are going to believe that. The key for us is that, our front office put a team together. They thought, before Lonzo got hurt, that could be a really, a team in the East that could really cause some problems. Zoe goes down and misses 2 years. We're not that team. We were a fringe team getting into the playing game every year. And that's the expectations here are higher than that in this organization. We expect to be in the playoffs, but not playing ourselves into it by being the 9th or 10th team. We expect to be in the playoffs, and that's what the expectations are set here. This is a championship, organization where we've got 6 championship banners hanging up. Our mentality is not different. We expect to win, and in order to win, you got to have the pieces. And right now, we don't have the pieces, so now we're basically rebooting. We're basically going to start, going younger. We got some good young players here that they want to develop. The kid Modest Buzelis is going to be a stud, and they got Kobe White's been really good for us here. Patrick Williams now is starting to show some different stuff. But we're on the rebuild mode right now, and I think we still got some more moves to make before Thursday.
Stacy, we appreciate your time. This is my last one for you. Just wondering, what was your initial reaction, and what are you thinking now of the Laker-Luka trade?
You know what? If David Stern was alive right now, David Stern would have vetoed that trade. The only reason why I say that is because, we don't know what went on, behind closed doors. But at the same time, if Rudy Gobert at 32 years old and can't score in the empty gym with a ladder, can get 5 first-round picks, 3 unprotected picks, 5 extra players, you're telling me Luka Doncic at 25, who's a 5-time first-team All-NBA player and is going to be the face of the NBA in a couple of years, you're telling me you just got, and there's no shade going on Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is a great player. He's going to be a Hall of Fame player, but Anthony Davis is 32 years old, and he's got a history of injuries. And you got a first-round pick. You got Max Christie. You got to go talk to the team. I'm sure if you went to Oklahoma City and Luka's been the Oklahoma City killer, I'm sure they would have said, how many picks you want? Who do you want off our team other than Shea? We'll give you 2 players. You can't take Shea, but you get 2 players and 5 picks. Who do you want?
Stacy King. Give me the Hot Sauce Podcast. How was LaVar Ball, that episode, man? I haven't checked it out yet. How was that?
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something, man. He's a phenomenal guest to have on. I mean, he's not like when you see him in public, he's real laid back, chill. He loves his boys, man, and people need to give that man his flowers, man. That guy, predicted all this stuff with his kids, and it's come true. His third son probably should be in the NBA. Probably should have got a chance to be in the NBA because he can shoot the basketball. So for whatever reason he's not, but now he's a rapper. Now he's got one of the hottest singles, in the country. I mean, they play that song everywhere now, millions of streams. He's one of the headliners in Coachella, which is you guys know out there is huge.
Yeah.
And so he's pretty much everything he predicted from his boys is pretty much come true.
Stacy, we appreciate it. Tell Kevin Herter we said best of luck. Thanks for your time. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, boys, take it easy. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate that very much. Yeah, Stacy King wanted to share some thoughts about Zack LaVine. When we come back, there it is, more proof that a lot of members of the national media, they don't actually watch the Kings. Next, Sacktown Sports.
Breaking Sacramento Kings news. De'Aaron Fox has reportedly been traded to the San Antonio Spurs in a 3-team deal that lands Sacramento, Zack LaVine, and 3 first-round picks. Stay up to date on SacktownSports.com at 11:40 a.m.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Right now at Wendy's, get 2 of these fave items for just $7. The spicier classic chicken sandwich, Dave's single, or 10-piece nugs. It's an incredible deal, but an insanely difficult choice. Do you go double chicky sando, both spicy and classic, 1 beefy and 1 chicky? Or maybe you go all in on one and go Nug Max. 2 faves for just $7? Gotta be Wendy's.
At participating Wendy's for a limited time only. Select a request 2 for $7 deal to redeem. Not valid in a combo or with saucy nugs. Single item at regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up, Oscar!
We could all use more time. Amazon Business offers smart business buying solutions so you can spend more time growing your business and less time doing the admin. I can see why they call it smart. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
KHD 1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacramento's official home of the 49ers.
San Francisco.
Sacktown Sports, 1140. Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Woo! Taking you up to game night, bottom of the hour. I'm going to stick around for a while on game night as well here to help everybody figure out what the heck's going on here. Kyle Draper in Minneapolis. I got a quick question for you, Drape, before we get back to the Kings. How is it, you're the music guy. I don't know how this stuff works.
Yeah.
How is it Taylor Swift did not win a Grammy last night, and the freaking Beatles did? What is this a major embarrassment for Swifties? What is going on here?
I'm telling you, man, I've been saying it, and you guys just aren't paying attention. Taylor Swift is above the awards now. Like,
I guess.
She's flying above everybody. She's like, oh, your little Grammys, we don't need that anymore. Like, you're talking about a billionaire, basically. Like, she doesn't need all that. That's beneath her.
Beyonce, Kendrick Lamar, Taylor Swift.
Dude,
nothing.
That's the highlight of Kendrick Lamar's career.
Slow down, man. See, I knew you was coming in negative.
If Taylor Swift woke up and had Kendrick Lamar's career, she quit the business.
I knew you was coming in negative. I knew you was coming in negative about K-Dot.
Yeah, I think
I was waiting on the negativity of it.
I think she had like 6 nominations, and she was over.
She got blanked?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what it is, though? She won a bunch last year, right? If I'm correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sweating that, dude. She out there making billions on tour and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's beneath. She worried about her Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
I got you. We're hardly going to talk about the Super Bowl this week, are we, Drapes, with everything going on?
Don't need to, big fella. Next Monday, I'll come in with my Eagles gear, my Super Bowl champion. We can talk about it then. How about that?
Mm-hmm. We do have, at some point here, we'll give you the signal. Not yet. We'll give you the cue to call in on this Monday Madness to claim your tickets to Wednesday night's game, the Kings against the Orlando Magic. And Drapes, you said you think there's a very good chance that Zack LaVine will be in uniform for that game. If not that game, then the Portland game Thursday?
Yeah, I was told Portland at the latest on Thursday, but so they made the trade official, this afternoon, and I think you got 48 hours to report. I mean, the guy's in shape; he's ready to go. I mean, remember Domas when he got traded here, took his physical in the morning and played that night. And so I think Zach will meet the team back in Sacramento when we come back and hopefully play Wednesday.
By the way, that Portland game, all of a sudden they're playing well. And then you got, of course, the Minnesota game tonight is big. But isn't it interesting? You look at the standings, and the Spurs are one of the teams right behind the Kings for the 10th spot, and now you make this major deal with them. It makes me a little nervous, Drapes.
Why? Because it helps San Antonio?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, let's call it what it is. Remember, we talked about who's going to be the next team, the next dynasty. San Antonio setting up with that when you got Wemby, and then they didn't have to give up any of their young guys.
Right.
I mean, this is the team in the Western Conference for the next, 7 to 10 years probably that we're going to have to deal with.
Maybe so. It's just when someone is climbing up a tree, chasing you don't turn around and hand them an axe, but we'll see how it all works out. I mentioned earlier that a lot of people in the national media, and bless Stacy King for joining us, we appreciate that, but I said, hey, people don't watch the Kings. And we heard it there, didn't we, Drape, with your buddy Stacy King. He says, well, Malik Monk's now got to play point guard. He's been doing that, and the people around the league, they're just not recognizing that that's going on.
And you got to also think, and let's call it what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Let's call it what it is, people. De'Aaron Fox was not your point guard. Like, even though he played it, he wasn't the point guard per se. Like, how many guys did he set up with the pass? And so, sure, he averaged, 6 assists or 5-point-something assists, whatever it is. But I look at Malik and how he's made specifically Domas's life a lot better. And so, Malik's sort of been a de facto point guard as of late.
Yeah, but to me, to my eye, it's been legit. It hasn't just been a guy that, we need a point guard, so it has to be him. I mean, he's been really good at it. I know we've talked about that, but I think it's been one of the biggest stories of the last 3 years of this Kings resurgence is the way Malik has shown he's an actual point guard.
Yeah, and here's the thing, though, too, Whitey, and I said this before, Malik has been fantastic. I'm looking at some of his numbers right here. I'm going to go to his game log for this season. And since Doug Christie has taken over as head coach, Malik has called his number a lot. He shot the ball, I'm looking at it, 17.3 times per game. I don't know if I need that many shot attempts from Malik. He's doing great, averaging 7.6 assists, but I could see more with less from him. Give me about 14 shots a game, Malik.
Mm-hmm.
Bump it up another 2 or 3 assists. He legitimately could be a 19, 10 assist kind of guy in this league.
Yeah. We need an update from you, Drapes, if you have one yet, on the injury situation for tonight. We know Randall and DiVincenzo out for tonight, and then questionable last I had was Ant and Naz Reid, both questionable for tonight. Do we have any update on their conditions?
No, officially still listed as questionable. Haven't seen either guy out here warming up right now. We got Luka Garza warming up right now.
Luka.
So, I think he's going to play. Luka is going to play tonight, I think. But still no word. I think both those guys will play, though, to be honest with you. If you're just asking me and the vibe I get, the Kings, I know, are preparing that both Naz Reid and Ant-Man are going to play tonight.
And this is, again, a big game in the West, right? Because they played 3 times, and the Timberwolves have 2 narrow wins, but they've beaten the Kings twice. So this is a chance for the Kings to draw even in the tiebreaker.
Yeah, how about this? The road team has won all the games so far.
Wow.
Which is crazy about it. No, but you're right. This team's been playing extremely well. I know they lost to Washington the other day, but no Anthony Edwards, no Randall, and so give Washington credit. But, no, this is a good Minnesota team. They won 5 out of their last 6, so they seem to be hitting their stride a little bit.
Guerrero Gross wants to know, so who is getting more playing time tonight? Now you have no De'Aaron Fox, so who's going to play more tonight, Drapes?
Well, Keon definitely is getting the start. I can see that. And I'm looking at our roster. We're without Kevin Huerter. Now you're without Jordan McLaughlin and De'Aaron Fox. I think Mason Jones will get some tick. Devin Carter's going to get a lot more minutes tonight. We're going to see him for an extended period of time. Like, think about it. Who's your first guard off the bench now? If you're Doug Christie, it might be Devin Carter tonight. So this could be a coming out party for him tonight.
Yeah. I got to ask you here, and I know everyone around here, we're focused on De'Aaron Fox and what the Kings are going to do next and Zack LaVine, but we just touched on it with Stacy King. Drapes, what was your initial reaction when you found out about the Luka going to the Lakers trade?
I was sitting on the team plane. We were flying, and Jace Griggs, our producer extraordinaire, engineer extraordinaire out here, he showed it to me, and I was like, dude, Sean's got hacked.
Yeah.
It ain't true.
Yeah.
And then I looked and ESPN reposted it, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I'm just like, damn, the Lakers stay getting whoever they want, it seems like. With that being said, I like the move for Dallas.
Do you?
In the short term. AD and Kyrie, that's a formidable twosome right there. And the pick they got will probably be halfway decent, I would imagine. Maybe in the teens or something like that. And so, I mean, it's weird, though, that Dallas didn't open it up at all. At least didn't have multiple. You ain't even got to announce to the world like the Kings did. You could just make some calls. See, hey, what about Jason Tatum? Or, hey, what about Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner? Something, right?
Right.
Just to zero in on Anthony Davis, man, that's kind of shocking to me.
It is because, and there was a piece today at ESPN.com that said the Mavs wanted to make sure it was hush-hush because they didn't want anyone else driving the narrative. And the reason you don't want anyone else driving the narrative is because then you lose leverage. But they didn't get a great deal. How much they had all the leverage and they didn't use it if they didn't get more than that. And Kirk Goldsberry was on with Bill Simmons on his pod, and I don't know if this is true, but he said initially the Mavericks were going to get more back, but the Lakers convinced him, Luka's a big risk with the weight and everything. So they ended up whittling that package down. So maybe you're right, but it sounds like the driving force of this trade was new ownership in Dallas not wanting to pay him and management in Dallas looking at Luka and saying he just won't get into shape.
Yeah, and I'm really not buying the shape part of it because our boy Chris Mannix, friend of the show, who we had on recently, he tweeted, so what? He's not in shape. He's been all NBA first team 5 of the 7 years he's been in the league. He led you to the title. It more has to do with we're not, like you said, Whitey, committing $345 million to this guy, which is surprising because he's an all-world talent. He's one of the top 5 players in the NBA. And now, to me, this sets the Mavericks back. Sure, you got the initial bump by adding Anthony Davis. I think you'll be improved this year. Maybe a higher ceiling. Maybe, you're one of the longest teams in the league now with your centers that you have. But where are you sitting at in 4 years?
Right.
Where are you at in 5 years? It just doesn't make sense to me.
It's truly ironic because the reason the NBA has the rule that a team can pay their own player more is because they're trying to keep players with the teams that draft them. That's why they have that rule.
Right.
But now, with the salaries getting as high as they are, you have newer owners like in Dallas, and they look at that, it's like, we don't want to pay that much. So it's actually driving players, or at least in this case, it's a contributing factor in the Mavericks getting rid of Luka. And look what happened in Boston. Boston wins a championship, and what's the first thing the owners say? Oh, we're going to sell.
We're out. Yeah, we're out. And I think this new CBA and these new rules and everything like that, as I see my guy Wes Wilcox walking out onto the court out here into the arena, it's like players that think automatically they're going to get the max. And I go back to something Jay said last week about De'Aaron Fox. Were the Kings willing to offer De'Aaron Fox the full max?
Yeah.
Did they view him as – because not everybody's a full max guy.
Right.
Just because you're eligible for $345 don't mean you are. Like, think about it. Jaylen Brown, and I love Jaylen Brown. But when he signed that $300 million contract, right, a lot of people thought he's not even the best player on this team.
Yeah.
And so as an organization, you got to decide, is this player really worth it? Is he the max? That you and I wonder if the Kings wondered that about the.
I wonder that too, yeah, because now if you have a player and he's qualified for the Supermax and a team doesn't want to give it to him, all of a sudden that's an issue. That's considered a slap in the face.
Right.
Then you have a problem on your hands.
You can have a malcontent,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Now, as far as the Kings go, I saw this, Drapes, something in the schedule that actually bodes well for the Kings. But before we get to that real quick, how about a number, Drapes, for Monday Madness for a couple of Kings tickets for the Kings and the Orlando Magic? What number you got?
Is 8 too much for my boy Zack LaVine?
Let's do it.
All right, because for Zack LaVine.
Yeah. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Caller number 8, you pick up a couple tickets to see perhaps Zack LaVine's debut with the Kings Wednesday night at the Golden One Center. Is that confirmed now, Drapes, that he's going to wear number 8? I believe that's what's expected to be the case.
Yeah, that's expected.
Okay.
And the squad put out, the Kings put out a little Instagram post as well. They don't have a number here listed for him on it, but I would think he'd
okay.
I mean, all his handles have Zack LaVine 8 on it.
Right.
So
all right. Yep, we'll go with that. So
how about this, Whitey?
Yes.
Hold up. I got to get a pat on the back, big fella.
Yeah.
You know, I never miss an opportunity to toot my own horn, if you will.
Right.
So,
you?
Yeah. Somebody from the 916. I got to give Drape his props. He was the first to talk about LaVine. I don't think you understand. Like, when I heard this news, Whitey, because I've been talking about LaVine for a few years now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, finally. And it's not about the contract, because that's not an issue right now.
That's incredible.
We got my guy, and I'm happy. I'm excited to see him.
Yeah, I know a couple summers ago, we talk about, and that was before you and I were working together, we talk about Zack LaVine. It's like, oh, that contract, though, you can't afford it.
Yeah.
And now it's like, nah, we're good. We got it.
How quickly that changes, right?
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see him play, at home, this fan base. Here's what we know about Sacramento Kings fans, too. Some of the classiest fans in the association.
Yes.
When the team was struggling, they went on the road, first game back. I forget who it was against. Dallas, it might have been. That Monday game, the crowd was great. And I expect that come Wednesday against Orlando. I think people are going to shower LaVine and CD Sissoko with some love.
Yeah. The place is going to be hopping. By the way, I saw that the Kings in February, you look at the opponents, you look at their win-loss percentage, the Kings have, by that measure, the easiest schedule in the NBA for the month of February. Now, there's still a lot of games on the road, and that percentage doesn't take that into account. But in terms of the winning percentage of their opponents' Drapes, February, the Kings have the easiest schedule in the NBA, so maybe some opportunity there with the new player coming in.
Yeah, the only problem with that, and I agree, you got 2 against New Orleans, and I don't care who's suiting up for New Orleans at this point. They always seem to play us tough. You know what I mean? We got two in a row against New Orleans. We got Dallas also, with Anthony Davis coming up next week. And so, no, I hear you. I think we got the Warriors later this month. And so this is an important month for us, no doubt.
So how does this change your expectations? And before you answer, I'll just say, like I said earlier, I don't know yet. We're still kind of in a state of flux, waiting to see what the next move is. Zack LaVine, though, I think puts the Kings on a track where now we know this is what they're doing. They're trying to be the best team they can be this year. Hopefully they add to that. But what does the Zack LaVine trade do for you and your expectations for this year?
No, I'm right with you, to be honest with you. I need to see the next move.
Yeah.
What's next? Do you go out there and get my boy John Collins? If you go out there and get John Collins, I don't see why we can't win a playoff series. I don't see why we can't make a push for a top 6 seed. Now, if you don't do anything, and this is your squad, I think we'll be a play-in team. I just think we still have too many holes. But I firmly believe something else is going to get done by Thursday.
Let me just say this, and I don't think I can speak for Jay. He may feel this way, I don't know, but I feel strongly this way, Drapes. Now that the Kings have Zack LaVine, let's say they get John Collins, and let's say the Eagles win the Super Bowl, I don't think I can come to work for like a month. You're going to be hard to be around for a long time.
Hey, you know what?
And I think
I might not come to work, big fella. It'd be like winning the lottery for me.
Yeah.
I might just be like, I'm done. I'm going to ride off in the sunset. You know what I mean? I'm going to be like John Elway, win a Super Bowl and retire. If so, give me at least a week to be insufferable.
You earned it, but I just may need to, may have some other things going on. So it's interesting talking to Stacy King, and you asked him, fans in Chicago, they're not crazy about the trade. I think here in Sacramento, it's kind of a mixed bag, which is understandable when you send away an icon. I think in San Antonio, they're thrilled about this trade. Again, I'm hoping Monte can do enough between now and the deadline to get more Kings fans on board with the direction of the franchise post the Aaron Fox trade.
Yeah, and it's all about your perspective, right?
Yeah.
Because Chicago fans are upset. San Antonio fans are, ecstatic. I think the Spurs gave up like 4 first-round picks, though, in 2 unprotected.
Yeah.
But they didn't have to give up any of their main player assets. And when you have a treasure trove of picks like they do, you can afford to give up a couple. You know what I mean? And it doesn't affect you. And so I think if you're grading it, I would give the Kings probably a B+ in this trade. I give San Antonio an A+ and Chicago a C. I'm like, what the hell is Chicago doing?
Yeah,
they basically gave away Zack LaVine.
Yeah, those picks that the Kings get, you get next year's Charlotte's pick, which is protected 1-14, which means, it's going to be protected and it's going to convert to 2 2s. So the Kings has to get 5 second-rounders yesterday. They get the Spurs 2029 pick, which if the Spurs are good, that won't be a great pick, but you never know. And then they get 2031 Minnesota, which I know right now looks like, ooh, that could be good. But Drapes, it's 2031. Who knows what it's going to be worth?
Right, and like somebody said, we didn't even get our pick swap back.
Yeah.
At least we'd have got that back, you know what I mean? Hey, as soon as we're done, I'm going to go downstairs and talk to Wes and see what I can find out, because he's down there right now. I'm about to go holler at him and see what I can find out, because there got to be some more moves for this team to make, I think.
Yeah. And I think that was part of the move they made yesterday, is having in mind. Now, let me ask you, because you guys were here last week, a day when I wasn't here, and I know there was a story that something was very close to happening with John Collins, and John Collins was even asked about it and said, yeah, no one told me anything. So is there reason to believe that maybe things got really close on John Collins last week?
That was the report, right? That was out there.
Mm-hmm.
They were close to John, almost had basically agreed to it. And I think it came down to the protections on the first-round pick.
That's easy to revisit then, right? You just go right
back.
Very
easy.
Yeah.
Right, because you got more picks now, too, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can give up a 2031 Spurs or Timberwolves pick or whatever it is. You can give up one of your own picks now. You got more assets to trade. And so that's why I think there's more to be done, and there should be some other moves being made with this team.
Aren't you worried? I'm worried. I'll just say it. I'm a little worried from a defensive standpoint. You get Zack LaVine, and it's interesting. Stacy King said he's a great athlete. He could be a better defender, which means he's not a great defender. And if you got John Collins, I think it's maybe a little better if you get Cam Johnson. We'll see, but I'm worried, and especially because of the way they played against Oklahoma City. Drapes, I'm worried about the defensive end going forward.
Nah, I'm not worried, Whitey. I'm not. Here's the thing. I'll get it. I want two-way guys, 3-and-D guys up and down the roster.
Yeah.
But to me, you get the top-level talent, and then you add some guys, sprinkle it in, a la Dorian Finney-Smith with the Lakers. You can find, I think, guys out there that may not average 20 points a game, but can get after it defensively. And so we also got to remember, too, it's a work in progress, Whitey. You don't go from this to contender overnight. You tweak the roster. How many years did it take the Celtics to actually win a championship? They tweaked the roster, they messed with it, they played around, and then finally it all clicked. And so I think that's the stage we're in right now if you're the Kings.
I'm still a little worried about that, but I hear you. I
tried to make you feel a little bit better.
Do you feel like now, last week, it was one of the days when you weren't here, I guess when you were flying with the team, I was feeling like, wow, I don't know what the direction is of this franchise right now. They could go a number of ways. We don't know. I think the Zack LaVine acquisition, at least, doesn't mean they're going to do well at it, but at least we know that they're trying to stay hyper-competitive in the short term. So at least franchise-wise, we have a sense of direction. Do we not?
Yeah, I think so. We now know they're not trying to tear it down.
Yeah.
Or anything like that, or rebuild. We're trying to remain competitive. And I believe that was the mandate from ownership.
Yeah.
Build a winner, whatever it takes to win. And so I don't think this ownership group can stomach ripping it down and being a lottery team for 3-4 more years. I think the mandate is do what you got to do to try and produce a winner here.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! You got a wish list tonight, or is too much other stuff going on?
There's too many other things for the wish list. I don't even know what to expect.
Right.
It would be great to see him come out and play well, but as we said, you've got guys on the team that were worried not only about whether De'Aaron's going to be there, but whether they're going to be around. And some of that still applies for tonight. There's still some players, if they think about it, they got to realize, Kings could make another deal, and I might be involved in that. And I hope that's not a distraction tonight. I do think the Kings here's my wish list. Just come back and show that what happened against Oklahoma City was an anomaly. Just show up, because that was dreadful, Drapes. It was an embarrassment.
I agree, man, and I expect a much different effort. I was at shoot around this morning. It was kind of somber to start, but once they got on the floor and got some shots, it was like normal. Everybody seemed to be in good spirits, and so hopefully these guys come out. Doug was pretty hard on him today. He ripped him a little bit, so we'll see what happens tonight.
To your knowledge, is that the first time he's done that or anything like that? Is this the most that he's really gotten after him a little bit?
Yeah, it was after OKC. He kind of got after him after that OKC game in the locker room. And so we'll see how the guys respond tonight.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on the Zack LaVine deal, Drapes. It's going to be fun. He's a very, I've been like, nah. But like I said, I got to admit, you watch him play this year, and he's been sensational. So it should be a lot of fun.
Cool. Yes. I'm going to be the first one with a LaVine sack jersey. They're probably already out there somewhere, people probably.
Yep. All right. Well, have a great call tonight. Don't forget, it's easy to, Domas with the crash and dash. I know you tried it out last week, and I still think you need to give it another shot.
I got you. I'm going to throw that out there tonight for you. The crash and dash.
All right. So you're back with us tomorrow?
Yep. See you in studio tomorrow.
All right. Thanks, Drapes. Have a great call.
All right, guys. Take care now.
Yeah. Stick around as we get ready for the Kings' first game without De'Aaron Fox in a long time. Game night is next. Scott Marsh, the high flyer, and I'm going to stick around as well for the next hour's drive, guys. Getting ready for game night next on Sacktown Sports.
Half-court buzzer beater.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Drapes, Kyle Draper from Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. I've had my all-electric